That's right. See, look, not gonna hold you. Most of the time, I feel like people, even me, like know that first part. It's like
That's what we all said. We just know the first part. So after Lecrae, who was Reach Records' first signee?
It was T-Dot, right?
Facts. Yeah. All right. Good job. Hey, that was good because I had to look up some of this stuff or make sure I remember.
Of all the ones I got wrong, I really wish I would have got that verse right. I ain't gonna hold y'all.
Nah, you good. We all just say, "For I'm unashamed of the gospel, for it's the power of God's salvation."
I'm ashamed of the gospel. Yeah. That's crazy. The Jew and the Gentile part, though. That's real too.
We quizzed you a little bit on the older Reach stuff. So now we're gonna play a game called Run It Back. We know it's not Thursday, but we're still gonna be a throwback. So first, we're gonna give you an old Lecrae lyric, and then we're gonna give you one of yours. And we're going to ask you to finish both verses, but we're going to start with Lecrae's. I'm not going to tell you what song it's from. I'm just going to give you the bars. You finish the verse.
Okay.
So this is the Lecrae one. Lord, kill me if I don't preach the gospel. Still in my 20s, but I'll die if I got to. Man, I'm already dead. Lord, forget my flesh. I done been crossed over. Seen a full court press.
Hold up. Been crossed over. Court press. I'm a full court mess if the Lord don't use me. Still, how's it go? Finish that up for me.
Running from my trials, thinking everything's groovy. If the cross don't move me, then I don't want to breathe no more.
If I ain't seeing Christ, partner, I don't want to
see no more.
Rep him every day.
Without worrying about a bruising.
Woo! Still in it.
I've been to China, man. I've seen some real persecution.
That's an old verse, man. Dang.
All right. We're going to switch up. Let's do one of your tracks, Hulvey. All right. So, what does it matter in the end? If I live my life without my family and friends, I could have a Benz and a big TV without nobody in the car or the living room seats. Take it over.
Oh, this that in the end track. Doesn't matter in the end. If I live my life without my family and friends, I could have a Benz or a big TV with nobody in the car or the living room seats. I don't even remember. I'm dead serious.
Instagram. Pick the fame or the fam, Lambo or the lamb.
Bro, you know something about that song? You know why I don't remember? I wrote that verse in the middle of the night. This is crazy. I wrote that verse. The reason why I don't remember this is because that song, I was at my house in Marietta. And I felt the Lord call me to go write a song about my family. I'm in the house. I'm about to go to sleep. I drive to the studio and finish, I start writing them in the studio. And that was the one song, bro, that I just I made it, but I ain't really sit with it. Man, that's crazy. I could have been interviews, Instagram, pick the fame or the fam, Lambo or the lamb. And then the hook is in the end, my soul. That's crazy.
I said we just pushed you to go back and check out your own song.
Y'all slick, man. Y'all just made me listen back to something. I forgot about that song.
Hulvey ran through the games. You did pretty good, man. Everyone who's done the games has done pretty well.
I know the old stuff, but then when you hit me with a whole verse, that's when I struggle. I know the history and I know the records, but I'm a sound guy, so I be listening to the sounds.
So now this is the 101 portion of the show. And game 101. You're going to give us the 101. We're going to ask you questions about yourself, about the project, and you're going to take us to school. Hence the 101.
Yeah,
We're going to kick it off with Cutright, who's got the first question.
All right, word. So, Hulvey, check it out. On the other side, right, the joint was wavy, bro. You know, it was wavy, right? You took the time to highlight the issues of injustice and racism, citing that when you saw what happened to Ahmaud, that weighed heavily on you. This line in particular, you know, this is my time to speak to the people that think it's okay to see black folk die. What if your son died and they told you, mama, don't cry? Why do you feel it's important to make room to touch on that subject matter when you had such a limited amount of space for this project?
Yeah, so there's multiple things that went into it. First thing, which I have to nod my hat to, was when I was doing the record and I sent it to Ace, or A&R, he was like, bro, you should really, because he knows that I have a heart for it. And he was like, bro, you should really touch on what's going on. And then like the moment he said that, I tapped in to start writing it. Obviously, it just came out of me. And so I feel like one of the reasons like that it really hits home for me, and I feel like I needed to touch on it, was like that happened in my hometown. And so like that just created like, I mean, so much stuff happened in my hometown with that, like, you know, like protests and like people that really like rose up from what happened. But it also hit personally for me because he's from my hometown, and for me, I'm not black, I'm a white dude. So for me, I'm like thinking about it and reflecting on myself, and it's crazy when you see it from another perspective. And something like that, something that drastic happens, it really forces you to step into somebody's shoes. So for me, I was like, man, like I wanted to give perspective, like that line about like, you know, like what if somebody told what if somebody told you mama don't cry? Like, it's like, it hits home, it hits different like that when it's in your own lane. Like, what if I had a son and he got killed, like, I feel like I would be, I don't even know, like, what I would be thinking or feeling. You know, I feel like it would just hurt so much. And so, yeah, I just wanted to get to the sobering fact that it's so deep, and it's like, man, like, we have to be able to resonate with, like, people's hearts, like, in pain, because like Jesus did that. Like, he met people where they were at, but then he called them higher. And so for me, I wanted to shed light, but in a way that points them to him. So I don't know, I just needed people to resonate. I wanted people to resonate with that the way that I was able to in that season, because it did hurt me for real.
Yeah, Hulvey, I think one of the things that we've all been encouraged by, especially in these 3 tracks, is your particular heart for Christ and how explicit you are with that. So based on just who you are and what you're thinking right now, I noticed on October 4th, you tweeted out, "This is a call to everybody involved in CHH. Let's drop the politics. Let's drop the world's concept of success and lift each other up. Let's get back to Christ. Let's get back to what he does in our hearts. We family." And you clarified it wasn't about the politics of government, but the treatment of one another within the CHH space.
Yeah.
So the question really is just, can you talk to us a little more about what a Christ and collaboratively focused CHH looks like to you, and what artists need to do to get there?
Honestly, I think first it's like defining like what you're in it for. So for me, it's like, dang, like if I have the opportunity to do this, then I'm going to do it for him, first of all. Then with that, the next part is the people around you. So it's like, okay, if you're doing it for him, how are you like incorporating that with people around you? Like, what's y'all's goals when y'all are creating or when y'all are around each other? So I have multiple artist friends, and something that I've noticed and some of my friends have started to notice is like, man, there's like a sense of like competition that's happening. That's like think about this, like people call it Christian hip hop. And like, if we want to label ourselves that, if that's like what you want to go under, then you have to hold yourself to like Christ's standard. Like our standard, like of trying to have worldly success it's just not what God like calls for. Like, I don't know how else to put it. So for me, it's just like, man, like, what does it look like to create in a room and like ask the Holy Spirit to speak to you? Or like the other day, like, bro, like God put on my heart to like take a communion before we did like some sessions for some stuff. And like, man, like it was so beautiful and so much different than what I've seen in sessions, because it's based on his heart, not on like making a record just to make one. Like, there's a season that I've been through where I was just making songs just to make them, and that it just doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't touch people, and it doesn't move me. And so, and I'm not saying there's not a place for that or there's not a time to have fun, but more so, it's like, man, we need to check our hearts on like, what are we in it for? Because if we're in it for the wrong reasons, we're going to treat people like garbage, and the artists around us really are people. Like, so I feel like too, that's another thing. We're very political because we identify each other as artists, and we miss out on the heart. Like, people are going through stuff. Like, music is a Band-Aid for a lot of people, and I feel like if we're not careful, we're going to see that Band-Aid and glorify it instead of realizing that there's issues behind it. You know what I mean?
You talk about music being a Band-Aid for people. You know, your song and your music, even from like when I first heard you, was Motions. And then you drop like other side, and it's like, keep climbing. So like, my question is, like, your songs seem to be appealing to those who are going through hard times and struggles. Seeing that, musicians and artists often talk about what they go through in their music also, how would you describe your mental state throughout this whole season of COVID and the protests and everything?
There's been like different seasons, but that season specifically, I was just trapped in my mind, like not surrendering my mind to him. And so that stuff was like beating me up. Like there definitely was times during COVID, like I was thriving with him because I was like being disciplined. But to be honest, like during that stuff, like it rocked me hard and it messed me up because I wasn't rooted. My heart and my mind, I wasn't governing my mind from my spirit. So like my mind was just like in a jumble. Like, to be honest, man, I don't really know how else to put it. Like it was just in a jumble, and I was trying to finish an album, which God was blessing, and he was still working in my heart, and I was growing. But at the same time, there was little key things that I wasn't doing mentally. Like I was letting my mind control me instead of me, like instead of my spirit controlling my mind. So when all that stuff went down, like it was just a bunch of confusion and, you know what I mean? Like handling it the wrong way in my head. Like what happened to people, like it was wrong. Like what happened to Ahmad was wrong and it hurts. But at the same time, what you have to be careful of is not to let the darkness put you in a place where there's no light. Because like I was like boxing my mind like in and just feeling like, man, like what are we gonna do? Like, and it hurts, but it's like, man, like we have to keep in mind how good God is, and we have to keep in mind like that he's the answer to our pain. So yeah, I was just stuck in my mind at that time, just being honest. Like I don't
So the next thing I just want to talk about on reasons, right? How you was talking about playing games with your heartbeat instead of slowing down to pray. Even like before this Zoom call has started, you was like, hey, before we jump in it, like, can we pray? Like how important, especially in light of what you just said, in this season, how important has prayer become when it comes to the process of you creating a project?
Oh yeah, it's big. Like reason being is because if you let him, he'll give you vision, bro. Like God, like in the midst of making a lot of the new music, like dude, I'd be in the shower, like just with him, and he'd just be giving me stuff, like, and so it's huge, and not just talking to him, but listening, like letting him speak to you, like that's a part of it too. So yeah, like asking him to be in it with you is like huge. It's huge, bro. Like like how you gonna like create like without the creator? You know what I mean? Like how you gonna like I don't know, man. Like we have an opportunity to speak to him and like fully and freely. And so if we make art, like we can make free art. So yeah, bro, it's huge. Like to pray and not. I feel like pray, obviously, but even more so, like praying all the time. Like not even this, but like praying all the time, like they say in the word. Like man, like throughout the whole process, being in him. Not just being like, God bless this session, like the whole time, like I'm with you and I'm co-creating with you and I'm hearing your spirit as I'm creating. Like it hits.
I know I told you on Twitter, we went back and forth about how much I loved the song Different with Tori. And I told you that my wife actually, who knows really nothing about music, was like, hey, this sounds like Outkast. And you were like, for real? That's what it was supposed to be like. So can you kind of talk about how you and Tori got together to do this and this project that
heck yeah.
is coming?
Yeah, so when I moved to Atlanta, like I just dove in to Outkast and I was like, man, this stuff is really good. And it's crazy because man, they'd be spitting real life. Like don't know where dudes' hearts are at or anything, but like especially 3 Stacks, like his heart. Hearing some of the stuff that he was saying, I'm like, man, like they're speaking the real, but also the sonics of it just so catchy and so like, man, it just makes you want to move. It's not like it's like they got bars, but they care about like the sound, which is like the big thing for me. I love like the sound, like, and so yeah, like that's where that started, was just me enjoying their music, and then me and Tori are like best friends, and so we just been wanting to do a project, and we knew that we could like do it. We knew we could like, and we're still obviously still trying to figure out the ins and outs, but he came for a week and we just locked in. And that's where we made different and some other records that were just, at the same time, we didn't do a bunch of records.